Initially, the data was exchanged in the form of HTML or text. Now, I am a service provider. Service provider sent a response. The response what he sent is Satish 1234. He sent the response called Satish 1234. When I received the message called Satish 1234, what is that Satish? Is it the name of a employee? Name of a student? What is that 1234? Is it a rank? Is it a roll number? Is it a salary? Is it a age? What was that? We are receiving the data. When you send the data in the form of HTML or text, I am able to receive the data, but the problem is I am unable to parse the data. I am finding very difficult to parse the data. I am finding difficult to understand the data. I am able to receive the data, but the meaning of the data is not conveyed. As the meaning of the data is not conveyed, I am finding it difficult to understand the meaning of the data. That is the reason people have seen for the alternate concept. When the people have seen for the alternate concept, then the people introduced a concept called XML. Then XML replaced HTML and text format. Initially, data was exchanged between the system using the text and HTML. While the data was exchanged, data is exchanged, but the meaning is not conveyed. As the meaning of the data is not conveyed, we are finding it difficult to parse the data. There is a reason the people have looked for the alternative. That alternative is XML. That alternative is XML. In the XML, how they used to transfer the data? They used to transfer the data. Let us say name, last name, so they transfer the data in the form of XML. When they transfer the data in the form of XML, I am receiving the data like Satish Maila, and also the meaning of the data is also transferred. So Maila is the last name, Satish is the first name. So the data is coming to me, along with the data, meaning of the data is also conveyed. As I am receiving the data and also the meaning of the data, it is easy for me to parse the data and use it. That is how the HTML XML is replaced with XML. But the problem with the XML is, I have a data called Satish Maila. Data is small, but the overloads are more. Now, start element, data, end element, start element, data, end element. I have taken a single record, you are able to find very easily. If I take 1000 records, more than the data, overloads are occupying a lot of space, because across the network, data will be transferred like a packages. As the size of the data increases, number of packages increases. As the number of packages increases, performance will decrease. So more than the data, the overloads are occupying a lot of space. That is the reason people have looked for the alternative. That time, people basically looking for an alternative on mobile application. Now, if it is a desktop application, because of your processor capability, it can process very fast. But when you look at the mobility devices like mobile phones and tab, the capability of the processors will not be so high like your desktops. Then they are looking for an alternative. That alternative was JSN. In the JSN, a small enhancement to the XML. Whatever the format of XML is there, the similar format, but slight enhancement. What is that enhancement? In the JSN, everything is represented in the form of key value pair. In the JSN, the data is exchanged in the form of what? Key value pair. When the data is exchanged in the form of key value pair, where everything is represented like an object. Flower bracket, they have given last name, this is how the data was exchanged. So what was this? The JSN has reduced the overloads. The JSN has reduced the overloads and represented every data in the form of object, in the form of key value pair. So why are you going for JSN? Initially, data was exchanged in the form of HTML and text. When data was exchanged in the form of HTML and text, when the data was exchanged in the form of HTML and text, then data was transferred, but the meaning of the data is not transferred. As the meaning is not transferred, we are finding it difficult to parse the data. As a solution to this, people have introduced a XML format. When they have gone to the XML, data is transferred and also the meaning of the data is transferred. As the meaning of the data is transferred, I was able to parse the data more quickly and fastly. But the problem with this format is overloads. More than the data, overloads are occupying a lot of space. To avoid these overloads, people have looked for the alternative. That alternative is JSON. That alternative is JSON. In the JSON, everything is represented in the form of key value pair and everything should be in the form of object. Am I clear with this? Now look at the point. When you are going for this, the JSON will be in this format. Key. So the JSON is going to be always in the form of key value pair. The JSON is always going to be in the form of key value pair. Look at the point. Every JSON will start and end with flower basis. Every JSON will start and end with flower basis. The data in the JSON is given name, value, key, colon, value, comma, age, colon, value. Key, colon, value, name, colon, Satish, age, colon, 32. So we are giving key value pair. It is a key value pair. It is a key value pair. Okay. Are you getting my point? JSON is going to represent everything in the form of key value pair. Okay. Suppose we have a wrapper class. Public class, example or student. We have public string name, public string branch, public string. I have a wrapper class. The wrapper class, what I have, the data of this wrapper class, I want to represent in the form of JSON. So what I am doing, if you want to represent the data of a wrapper class in the JSON, I give student, colon, student is the key, value is object. Value is object. So what is this? Student is the key, value is object. In the object, what is the data we have? Kiran, branch, this is how I created. So we have a wrapper class where the data in the wrapper class is exchanged in the form of JSON. The data in the wrapper class is exchanged in the form of JSON. Are you getting my point here? Are you clear about this point? Are you clear? Am I clear with this? Right. Now I'll give an object. Create this data in the form of JSON. I have a wrapper class, public class employee. In the employee I have public string employee name, public decimal salary, public decimal. Represent this data in the form of a JSON. Create a JSON to represent this data. Start creating this. Create a JSON to represent this data. Create a JSON to represent this data. Whether you have practiced the development or not, but integration with every class you have to practice number of examples. Otherwise you don't remember anything. Next day when you come, everything will be planned. And every program is going to be 1 hour plus. Every program will take around 1 hour. So if you don't practice the program, don't practice the number of program, not the same program, number of program, next day will be planned. So practice the JSONs. It's not like your development course. Right. No. How did you represent? I want to give some key. Employee I have taken. So it is going to be JSON, close bracket. What is the key? Anything of your choice, I have given key. What is the value? Object. My value is object. In the object, what are the values we have? EMP name, comma, salary, 10,000, comma, experience. This is how I represent it. So everything is represented in the form of object. Key, value, pair. Key, value, pair. Value can be an element, value can be an object, value can be an array. Right now you have taken key value, where key is a name, value is a primitive variable. Key is a branch, value is a primitive variable. Key is a phone, value is a primitive variable. In case of key is not a primitive variable, then I have to represent in the form of object. So here, key is EMP, value is object of employee. Object of employee. People are clear? Clear with this example? People are clear? So key value pair. Value can be a primitive variable. Value can be a reference variable. When I say reference variable, what does it mean? It can be object. It can be a list of S object. It can be a list of primitive data type. It can be a list of non-primitive type. Are you clear about this point? Okay. How do you define array? Look at the point. I am taking floor bracket, key. My key is what? Marks. Value is a array. Key is what? Marks. Value is a array. So in the array, what are you giving? 10, 20, 30. Key value pair, where value is a array. Now I am creating list of names. So I am taking it. Names, array of name. Key is a names, value is array of names. Key is a name, value is a array of name. Then I want to take key is AGCS, value is list of key is AGCS, value is list of accounts, where we have name and phone number. Key is a AGCS, value is a list of accounts. Listen to the format. How do you create an account? How do you create an account? In the account we have name, Wipro, phone. This is one account. I am getting second account. TCS. Now, this is what? Account 1, account 2. We want to take list of accounts. What is the key? Key is what? AGCS. AGCS, colon. What is the value? Value is a list of. Look at the format what we received. Key. Key is AGCS. Value is array of account records. Account record 1, comma, account record 2. Account record 1, account record 2. Account record 1, account record 2. Next one. Key is cons. Value is list of contacts. And we are going to use the fields like last name. Create a JSON with the key CONS. Value should be a list of contacts, where value should be a list of contact where we need to get last name and first name. Where we need to get last name and first name. First, create a contacts. What are the attributes in the contacts? Last name. It's a contact 1, contact 2. We have contact 1 and contact 2. Now this contact should be in array. So I am giving CONS colon array of contacts. Then close that. People have followed this. JSON is going to be in the form of what? Key value pair. JSON is going to be in the form of key value pair. JSON is going to be in the form of key value pair. Value can be a primitive variable. Value can be an object. Value can be an array of objects. When I say JSON, it is a key value pair. Value can be a primitive variable. Value can be an object. Value can be an array of elements. Value can be an array of elements. I hope I am clear. Okay. So let us do one more example and close this. So we are going with this. Create a wrapper class with data members, account ACC. Create a wrapper class with the data members, account ACC, and a flag. Then create a JSON with key as wrapper and value as account wrapper object. So what I am doing? Public class account wrapper. We'll add public account ACC, public if you want to represent value as account wrapper, how do you represent it? So everyone listen here. Everyone, what is the key? What is the value? Object of account wrapper. Value is what? Object of account wrapper. In the account wrapper, key is a wrapper, value is object. When you say object, how do you define? Now, in that object, what are the things we have? ACC. How do you define ACC? ACC is also what? ACC. The object ACC, comma, flag. So look at the format. Wrapper is object. In the object we have ACC, flag. Object wrapper, what is the value? Object of account wrapper. In the object of account wrapper, what did you have? ACC. ACC is again what? Object. Flag is what? True or false. In this ACC, name. People have followed this? wrapper. This is the object. Wrapper. This is the value. In the value we have ACC, where ACC is an object. Anyone has not followed this? People have followed. I'll define one more time. Look at the format. Look at the format. Everyone here? So what is the key? Key value pen. I have key value. So what is the key I told? Wrapper is the key. So how? What is the value? Value is a object. Which object? A code wrapper. How the object is represented? Flower bracket. Whenever we say object, it should be a flower bracket. Right. In the object, what are the elements we have? ACC, flag. ACC, value, comma, flag, value. What is the value of flag? The value of flag is true or false. I give. What is the value of ACC? ACC is an object. What is that ACC? Is an object. So how you define? In the ACC, what are the attributes we have? Name. People have followed this example? Anyone has any other queries on this? Am I clear? Anyone has any queries? People have followed? Clear for everyone? Clear, boss? Any other queries? Right. Yes. There's a key set. Right, Amma. Am I clear? Okay. Let us go to the next step. This is the basic generalized writing of JSON. But our intention is how to use the JSON in the Salesforce. Our intention is how to use the JSON in the Salesforce. Now there are two concepts what we have. Serialization, deserialization. Serialization, deserialization. What is the serialization? Converting the object into string format is called serialization. What is the serialization? Converting object into the string format is called serialization. What is the deserialization? Converting the string into corresponding object is called deserialization. What is the serialization? What is the serialization? When it says serialization, converting the object in the form of string is called serialization. Converting the string in the form of object is called deserialization. I hope I'm clear. So serialization and deserialization. Now in the Salesforce, we have some predefined classes provided by the Salesforce to support serialization and deserialization of data. If you want to serialize the data or deserialize the data, if you want to serialize the data or deserialize the data, Salesforce is providing some predefined methods and classes. So what are those classes and where they are provided? So let us understand this. We have system.json. We have a predefined class called JSON class. Under the namespace of system, Salesforce has provided some predefined classes. What are those predefined classes? What are those predefined classes? We have system.json. This is not the class. So the Salesforce has provided some predefined classes under the namespace of system which are used to serialize and deserialize the data. So what is that class name? JSON. Where is this class defined? This class is defined under the namespace of system. Under the namespace of system, Salesforce has defined a predefined class called JSON. This class contains all the methods which are required to serialize and deserialize the data. This class contains all the methods which are required to serialize and deserialize the data. Where are those methods available? They are available under the class of JSON. Where is the JSON class available? Under the system. So system is the namespace, JSON is the class in which we have methods to serialize and deserialize the data. Let's start one by one. I'll go with one by one example. Listen to this. Listen carefully, boss. First example I am taking. We have public string integer result, public string decimal result, public string. I created 3 variables. Look at the class. Class JSON example 1. Here I am giving integer result equal to system dot JSON dot serialize system dot JSON dot serialize. What do you want to serialize? 10. What is the 10? Integer value. What is the 10? Integer value. Convert the integer as a string. Convert the integer in the form of JSON string. I am giving here. Next, what is the next value? Decimal result equal to system dot JSON serialize. Then I am giving account. First, let me create an account. Account ACC equal to new account. Now I want to convert this account into string. How do you convert the account into string? Account result equal to system dot JSON serialize. So what is the purpose of this? This method is used to serialize. This method will take an object, convert the data in the form of string. Convert the data in the form of string. What is the purpose of serialize? Serialize method will take the object and convert the result in the form of string. Take the object and convert the data in the form of string. So go back, VF page, JSON example 1. So what is the value that we have? Teaser result. Account result. So what is the purpose of serialization, boss? Convert the object in the form of string, which is called serialization. So what is the data we have here? So look at this. So this is not 10, it is 10. This is converted in the form of string. 30.0 is in the form of string. So what we have here? Attribute, type, account, name, TCS, industry equal to banking. So what is this format called? Serialization. Converting the object in the form of string. Integer is a proper class internally. String is a proper class. Decimal is a proper class. In other programming language, you take int. Okay, int long. Here we take integer, decimal. All these primitive types are what? Internally proper classes. So we are converting the object in the form of what? Converting the object in the form of string, which is called serialization. What is called? Serialization. When you are serializing, there is a concept here. Serialize pretty, serialize not pretty. Serialize pretty, okay, serialize not pretty. What is this pretty and not pretty? Look at the point. We got here, name. This is one format. The other format is what is the difference you are finding here? Element to element, there is a gap. Space. This is called pretty print format. Data is same. In the UI, they'll have spaces between the element, which is called pretty print format. What we call as pretty print format. The spaces will come. So, in the serialize, we have one more method. What is the other method we have? Let me give you. The same variables I am creating one more time. This time I am taking 1. So here I am converting integer result 1 equal to system dot JSON serialize pretty print format. What we are getting here? Pretty print format. Serialize pretty format. The same example I am creating, but only the difference is I am giving now pretty format. JSON dot serialize pretty format. Account result JSON dot serialize pretty. So what was the difference that you are finding, boss? Only the difference is the spaces is to come. Serialize and serialize pretty. There was on JSON pretty. Decimal spelling. FX is not case sensitive. Visual okay. Your JSON is case sensitive but not FX. Now, when you look at this pretty print format, look at the output. Now, what you are finding here? Look at this. There is no space here. So, what is the difference you are finding between this and this? There is a space between floor bracket and single quote. There is a space between column. Right? This is what called pretty print format. This is a normal. This is a normal format. It is a pretty print format. So, what is the method we are going to use? Serialize pretty. Serialize will convert the object into string format. Serialize pretty will convert the object into JSON string in the pretty print format. What is the difference? Only the spaces are different. Conceptually, there is no difference. But in the UI, they are going to have difference by giving the extra spaces. Then third one. Look at the next one. Suppose next method I am going to take. One more example. I'll take a student. I have taken a class called student. Public string name. I have a wrapper class called student. Now listen to this. JSON example. Here I have public student string, or I can say string result 1. Public string result. Now I am taking a constructor. Public JSON example 2. Now I am creating an object. Student std1 equal to student dot name. Student dot what are the attributes I give? Variables name, branch. This is what I give. Phone number I am not giving. I give the phone number equal to blank. Then I give result 1 equal to system dot JSON dot serialize. Serialize. Which object I want to serialize? Serialize STD. Student and serializing. Then I am taking one more. Result 2 equal to system dot JSON dot serialize. This time I am using STD comma suppress fx object null values. Suppress object null values. So let us see the output. You understand the point. JSON example 2. What happened? What is the difference you are finding? In the first case, when I am not given the phone number came as what? Null. As I enter the name and branch, phone number is not given. We receive the value as null. The second case, when I serialized, I told suppress the null values. When I told suppress the null values, the elements whose value is null, those values are not entered in those values are not printed on the serialization. So we got only name and branch. Am I clear with this? Serialize, serialize pretty, serialize object comma suppress null value, serialize pretty comma suppress null values. How many methods are there? There are 4 methods. Look at this one more time. What are the methods we covered right now? We covered serialize object comma suppress null value, serialize pretty object comma suppress null value. Are you getting my point? So how many methods are available? 4 methods. What is the purpose of these methods? Convert the object in the form of string object. This is the serialization. Now we want to go for deserializing. When we say deserialization, if a string is given to you, you want to convert back in the form of, if a string is given to you, you want to convert back in the form of object. You want to convert back in the form of object. Now, when you want to convert back in the form of object, we need to use a typecasting. What we need to use? Typecasting. So what is the typecasting? If you want to convert the data type from one data type to another data type, if you want to convert the data from one data type to another data type, we use typecasting. We have used the typecasting number of times in the programming. Tell me some examples where we have used. Best example, recently flows and plugins concept. In the flows and plugins concept, what is the format? Map of string comma object, right? Like otherwise, list of S object. When you want to use SOSL query, when you are reading SOSL, the data is coming in the form of what? List S object. What did you do? Converted the list of S object into account, list of S object into list of contacts. Typecasting. Fine. So, people are new to the typecasting again. So, what is the typecasting? Now, simple example. Now, this room capacity is 150. If 80 people come into this room, is there any problem? No problem, right? Because capacity is 150, only 80 people are coming, no problem. That means smaller value coming and storing in the larger value. This is the space of 150 members, only 80 members are coming and sitting, no issue. It is called type conversion. Smaller value stored in the larger value. Integer stored in the decimal. Decimal stored in the double. Decimal is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes. Integer is 4 bytes, long is 8 bytes. Storing the integer value in the long, no problem. Because long has 8 bytes, integer has only 4 bytes. But the capacity is 150, 180 people are coming into the class. Now what happened? Now what problem starts? Now the problem starts, if I ask the 30 people to leave, they will ask, we are regular batch students, why should we leave? Now if you ask anybody who is sitting in the backup, boss, can you leave? Sir, this is the backup. After 1 month I am attending. He cannot leave. So what is the issue? Now I cannot say anything. Then in that case, we need to follow a principle. Right, boss? Same. Then what are you doing? A fat person is trying to enter this classroom. Then we told, you cannot fit into this room. You cut your leg or hand. Now if I say, you cut your left leg, then you'll ask, why should I cut my left leg? That's why I told, boss, you cannot fit into this room. It's your choice. You want to cut left leg or right leg, cut and come inside. Because system cannot decide. The system cannot decide. The system cannot decide. I told you, if 180 people are coming, if I ask any 10 people to leave, they take an argument with me. If I sit quiet, 10 people will automatically leave. So which is the best process? This is called typecasting. When I say type conversion, system has to take a call and say, boss, you 10 people leave the classroom. You are not able to pay. You are not able to accommodate. These 30 people leave, then it will be an argument. Right? That's the reason we give a break in between so that 10 people will leave. The rest of the people can sit. Now what is it? Typecasting. Allowing the people to decide. System is not deciding. System is not deciding. Developer is deciding. Okay. If you want a larger value to be fitted into smaller memory, system cannot support. So the developer has to convert it and save it, which is called typecasting. Are you getting my point? So fine. Let us take this example. Why I am using this typecasting here? Type conversion means what? Smaller value stored to larger value, system can accommodate. Typecasting is what? Larger value we are trying to store in, smaller value, system cannot support, giving the choice to the developer. Boss, you take the chance in converting it. I cannot convert. If you leave me an option, I will throw error message. If you give me an option, I will throw error message. So you only take a choice, convert and give me the value. Are you clear, boss? Right. So let us take this example. So I am taking deserialization. What is the concept of this deserialization? Let us see this. Public integer. So we have the data here. So we have age, salary, student, public, JSON example. So first one, age equal to, age is integer format. When you want to deserialize, system dot JSON dot deserialize. Deserialize. Which one you want to deserialize? String. It is a string. Now I am giving a string format of 10. String. In which format you want to convert? Into which format you want to convert? I told you everything is a proper class. Integer dot class. Convert the string 10 into string 10 into integer. So we are getting JSON dot deserialize. When it deserialize, it will give in the form of object, not in the form of integer. When you deserialize, result will come in which format? Object. When the result is coming in the format of object, what should I do? I have to convert the object into integer. So I am giving here. So what I am doing here was convert 10 into the object format. We are getting in the form of object. But object is a neutral format. I need to convert object into integer. So I have used typecast. The next one. Salary. Decimal, how do you deserialize? System.json. Deserialize. We are deserializing. Then we have a student. Student. It is in the form of JSON. So where you have name, Satish, branch, This is the string. So we are trying to deserialize. How are you deserializing? Student equal to student. Student equal to student. JSON dot deserialize. Which string you want to deserialize? In the form of what? Student dot. So deserialize. If you have a JSON string, convert them back into the object. Deserialize is used for what? Converting the string in the form of object. Then let me print the values. String name, branch. So we are trying to print name branch. What's the variable that we are printing? JSON 4 is a 3. We have one more bug. What is that? STD. There is student dot name. We have student STD system. Line number 9. Student system, yeah. That's not the issue actually. STUD student dot class. Why we are getting this error was student STD public STD equal to student system dot JSON deserialize student. Everything is right only. Unknown property student dot name. So let me give you. So let's print the value. So modifications are not yet updated. Have a preview of this. Is the developer console is a built-in or is the developer console is a built-in or is it a independent application? Developer console is a independent application or a built-in? It is an independent application. Tell me one example to prove that. When you open a developer console and save it, it will be in processing state. But if you go to setup, build, develop, setup, develop, Visual Force pages, copy, paste and save, instantly it will save. The developer console will be in the processing state saving. It is taking a lot of time. If you open the setup, build, develop, Visual Force and copy it, it will save. It is a built-in. Developer console running from external. It is external access again. The developer console is a built-in application but running independently. Okay. Fine, boss. So what we got? We got the data here. So this is a deserialization. So deserialization means converting the data from string to object. Then we have two more methods. Deserialize strict, deserialize untyped. There are two more methods what we have. deserialize untyped, deserialize strict. So let us see this example. Till here, any queries? Everyone is clear? Clear for everyone? Any queries from anyone? Am I clear? So let us go to the next part of the story. Let us go to the next part of the story. JSON example 4. Here I am using JSON here. Public string listen to the format carefully. Listen to this. Next format we are taking JSON deserialized strict. What is JSON deserialized strict? Here I am giving name, branch, so I gave a JSON string. In the string, what are the attributes we have? Name, branch, salary. Here I am converting into student. Student system dot JSON deserialize. First I will use deserialize, then I will go with the strict. Deserialize. In which format you want to deserialize? Student dot. We are deserializing. Into which format you are trying to deserialize? Into which format you are trying to deserialize? Into which format you are trying to deserialize? Into which format? You are trying to deserialize into student format. You are trying to deserialize into student format. In the student format, what is the data we have? Name, branch, phone. But here, what is the data I have taken? Name, branch, salary. I give an extra attribute which is not there in the student class. I am converting this data in the form of student class, but the salary is not there in the student. I am giving one extra attribute which is not there in the student. Controller. Then I am trying to print the data. I am trying to print the data called student. Now, we give some extra attributes and we are parsing. We give some extra attributes, then what happened? Is it going to serialize or not? What happened? It has deserialized. Salary we give extra, but no problem. Even we give extra fields, no problem. Even we give extra fields, no problem. Phone number I have not given, no problem. Salary extra I give, no problem. This is a deserialized. But the same thing if I give it as deserialized. When I say deserialized strict, go back to this. What happened? Unknown field. When you say deserialized strict, every element in the string should be a part of the class into which you are converting. Every element in the string should be a part of the class into which you are converting. When I say deserialized strict, every element in which you are converting, every element of the string which you are converting should be a part of the FX class into which you are converting. Every element of the JSON string should be a part of the fx class to which you are converting. Are you clear about this point? Deserialized strict. Every element of JSON string should be a part of the class which we are converting. Otherwise, it throws an error message. Are you clear about this example? Serialize, serialize, deserialize. Deserialize, deserialize, strict. Difference between deserialize and deserialize strict. When you say deserialize, even if elements are available or not available, it will convert. When you say deserialize strict, every element of JSON should be a part of the fx class into which you are converting. Otherwise, it will throw error message. Any further queries on that? Right. Let us take the last one. One more method is available. JSON deserialize untyped. Now, when you are applying the JSON deserialize, we are saying convert in the form of string, convert in the form of student, convert in the form of decimal. But I don't know which format I have to convert. When I am not sure to which format I have to convert, then what are you going to take? If you know it's a string, you will convert into string. If you know it's a decimal, you will convert into decimal. When I am not sure what format I am going to get, then I am going to use deserialize untyped. What is the format we are going to use? Deserialize untyped. Let me give an example. Taking map of string comma so deserialize untyped will give you result in the form of map. Deserialize untyped will give you result in the form of map. JSON key will be the map key. JSON value will be the map value. Map is also what? Key value. JSON is also what? Key value. JSON key is the map key. JSON value is the map value. Are you clear? So look at the example. Public. Then I'm giving string JSON. So this is the JSON string what I have. This string we are converting. So look at the format. Result map equal to type casting. Which format? Map of string comma. Then we are giving system dot JSON deserialized. What we have? Untyped. Deserialize the JSON string as untyped. Then we are going to get the result in the form of map. When you get the result in the form of map, how do you display the data in VF page? How do you display? I want to display the data. Appends, page block, title, result, appends, page block, table, value equal to, what is the name of map? Now we have var equal to A. When you are displaying a map, what is the value of A? Value of A is nothing but key. In the page block, if you are displaying a map, value equal to map, var equal to A. What is that A? A is a key in the map. Column value equal to A. Enter value equal to Then how do you display a value? How do you display value? Map of key. When you give map of key, you are going to get so go back to this, have a preview. So what I received? We received the data in the form of map. Key. City is the key, Hyderabad is the value. Name is the key, sum is the value. Salary is the key, and 10,000 is the value. So what is the purpose of deserialized untyped? Deserialized untyped will give you result in the form of map. Deserialized untyped will give you result in the form of map. Deserialized and deserialized strict will convert the data into the fx class what you have given. Deserialized JSON string comma fx class. Deserialized JSON string comma fx class. Are you clear about this? People are clear? Right. This is how we implemented the concepts of JSON, serialization and deserialization. Deserialized JSON, deserialized strict, untyped. Still there are two more methods. We'll see these two methods in the next session. That is dynamically how do you create. That is we have done right now static way of creating. Now dynamically how do you generate JSON string? I want to write a SQL query. I'll get a list of records. Convert those list of records in the dynamic format. So dynamically generating a JSON string and deserializing. Like let us say, if web service is success, give one response. If web service is not success, give another response. So what should I do? Success message should be different. Error message should be different. Dynamically we are generating. How to generate the web services responses dynamically. That's what we are going to learn in the next session. Create a generator, create a parser. So tomorrow's session I am going to cover how to create a JSON generator and parser dynamically and how to parse XML, how to generate XML string. Programmatically how to generate XML string, parse XML string. These are the topics what I am going to cover tomorrow. Tomorrow the session will be at 10:30. The session will be at tomorrow at 10:30. So every week the timings are fixed. Only for tomorrow the timing is 10:30 to 1. 10:30 to 12:30 I will be taking. 2 hours class I will be taking tomorrow. Regularly, every Saturday is 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. This is on Saturday. The timings are fixed. The timings will not be changed. Saturday 2:30 to 5:30. Sunday 9 a.m. to. This is Sunday. Sunday 9 to 11:30. Sunday timings are 9 to 11:30. Saturday 2:30 to 5:30. Only for tomorrow I am taking 10:30. Tomorrow the timing will be at 10:30. But from next week onward the timings are fixed. 2:30 p.m. to 5:30. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Right. And tomorrow hard copies will be given tomorrow.